I'm making this video so I can help out and maybe show some tips on how to groom the doodles. And I'm going to use Grace and River and give you a little example of how I take care of them. And it's really not hard. It's actually enjoyable. They seem to like it. It just takes a little bit of time, patience. You got to stay calm, and also you have to be very organized. Organized meaning that you have to be ready to do things that you need to do and have the tools that you need handy so that you don't have to stop and start or go into another room and get that tool. So first thing I'm going to do is bathe Grace, and then I'm going to bring Grace out here and I'm going to show you how I dry her and brush her hair out so that it's really easy to work with. And I hope you learned something, and this is just how I do it, and it's one of the ways to groom a doodle. There's many ways, but this is what I find that works well, and I usually end up with the dog looking pretty good. And so I want to share that with you, and I hope you can learn something, and your doodles can always look the best they can always look, because they are wonderful animals, and one of the nicest features is their beauty, that they radiate when they're happy and you're happy. So I'm going to pause this right now, and then I'll come back and show you after I bathe the dog, because I'm sure you can work on that. One thing I recommend when you bathe them is to have all your shampoo ready to go right near the sink. Be very calm, relax, and let the dog enjoy it like a wonderful bath, and give them a nice massage and make them feel loved. And then after that, you have a couple towels right there handy by your side of the sink, or wherever you do it, in the bathtub, it doesn't matter. I've done it in bathtubs and sinks, out in the yard even. But have a towel ready to go so that you can bundle them up with a little bundle of joy and hug and cuddle them with the towel, and the moisture from their hair will come off. And I also, when it's warmer, I can just use a towel, and that works out well, and they dry out quickly. But right now it's a little colder, and in general I do this most of the time. I use a hair dryer, and I brush out the hair. It's important that you brush out the hair. It's not really important, but it makes it look so nice when you blow dry it and brush it out, and it just looks beautiful, and it's very easy to work with, especially when you're going to groom the dog right after that. So we'll do that, and I'll be back with you, and we'll take it from there. Hi, okay, so we're going to blow dry Gracie, who happens to be getting ready to have puppies, as you can probably tell by her size. She's very big and probably going to have puppies any day now. So I massage her out a little bit, get her dry as you can, and then we're going to take a blow dryer here, and we'll get my favorite kind of brush, you see, like this, and we're going to blow dry, and here we go. And you have to get, when you have a new puppy, you introduce it to the thing so it doesn't scare it. Don't have it too hot. You want to burn Grace with the dog. So you just work it out. goes through the hair real nice. You have to try to get all the hair brushed out, and then it'll be nice and straight and smooth. Otherwise, when it dries, it stays like that, and this versus that it'll look okay, but it looks great when you get it brushed out, and it's easier to trim. River here watching and knows he's next. He likes to get a good bath and a haircut too. The feet usually take the longest to dry, or the hardest to dry, but you gotta just slowly keep working at them and they'll eventually dry out. They like to hang on to that moisture. Dryers have different settings. You gotta be careful if it's on too high, too hot, it'll burn them. So after it gets a little warmed up, maybe you want to back it down to the middle setting so that you won't burn it when you do or hurt this. Tummy full of babies. Keep this in the hair dryer moving. Don't stay in one place too long. Otherwise it'll burn maybe. Grace is. There you go. She's so big and so pregnant, she's hard to, it's hard for her to get around, so I have to be extra careful with it. Go on, nice sweetheart. Okay, let's see, did we get this side? I think we did. I think he's tricked me here. I think we're gonna get you over. Let's have you turn that way. That's a good girl. Let's turn this way. Let's get you so you can turn that way. There you go. what we're going to do is we're going to do some basic things to the dog that you usually have to do all the time. It's a little separate from the trimming of the body. And these are basic things that you want to maintain on a labradoodle or a goldendoodle. You want to trim back here in this area, right here on the paw. You can see right the last pad, I trim here. Okay, and then I'm going to trim this hair. See this extra hair inside the pad there? That really annoys them when they walk and it gets too long. So I'm going to trim out as much hair as I can safely without annoying her or cutting her or nicking her. I'm going to, several ways. I've used scissors and I use clippers, but I'm going to do each paw right here and here and clean that up. And that makes it so when they run and play, they're much happier. This collects dirt. It sometimes clogs up inside the paw, the little pads they call it. And so we're gonna, I guess, since she's been so good, I will keep going on this, and I'll try to show you and do this pad here. Now it just depends on what you can find that works well with your little puppy. Now anytime you introduce a new clippers or scissors, you should let them know you're going to do it. So I'm going to let her know and let her get used to it so it doesn't startle her. You see, I let her hear it, get comfortable with it, be relaxed. Okay, so I'm going to start trying to get some of that hair out of there. Is it real critical? You can't almost see it, but when normally after the trim, but you want to trim right in the pad there. Get that back pad cleared out. What do you want, River? You're next tomorrow. You get your hair cut tomorrow, River. So right there in the back of the pad, and you just want to have it so it's not going too close. Now you're going to need to find, there's little clippers, big clippers. You want to find one that you're happy with. I'm going to use this little one just for little detailing work like this, and then I'm going to use my regular doggy pet groomer clippers on the big part. But right now I'm starting to clean up the pad right now. And these are pretty good as far as getting in there and not hurting her. I find sometimes this works well and I can get deep, because if you press here, you press on it, you can get to it, and they really appreciate that cleaned out. Now sometimes that clipper is not good, and I'll have a pair of scissors that I trust that aren't going to hurt her, so I will find my little scissors, see if these scissors are any good. I got so many scissors that some of them aren't very good at clipping. So I'll carefully do this, kind of with a feel, so you have a feel that you're not actually cutting her skin, you're only cutting hair. If she flinches, then you should stop, because you're going to hurt her. Let's see, I've got to find, got to get a real good scissors, because I think the worst thing is to have bad scissors. This might be good. And you trim around here. See, I'm trimming that hair out. Now I know you've got little puppies, but they're going to be growing up, and they need to be kind of taken care of like this too. You're not cutting the top. See, you're just kind of making it so it doesn't get all clogged up. And sometimes you should check these paws regularly. I check them all the time because they go on hikes and they'll get a little rock in there sometimes. Okay. If the hair grows too much in that area, then it's like having a pair of soggy socks on. They don't like it. They can't run. They really are. They like look like they run much faster and better after you do this because they're much happier. So I'm not trimming really the body. I'm just trying to get around her pads so that they're nice and clean. And as I say, it's not about going too far. You want to stay on the bottom of the feet right here, and you want to get, you'll see that next time you come back out, it goes right back. And sometimes you got to push on the pad here, like that. And right now, I'm trying to find a good scissors that I can trust, because you got to be able to trust your scissors and know that they're going to cut just hair and not Gracie, because you could actually hurt her. And you see, these are safety scissors, so I can't poke her with them. But you can use scissors, so either way, sometimes I use a little of this and that, whatever works best. And I know it's harder with the younger puppies, but you just have to talk to them nicely and let them know you're doing okay, and they're doing okay. They know when you're upset or when you're concerned or you're nervous, so don't let them feel that with you. Let them feel like you're just there to take care of them and make them happy. And don't get upset if they don't hold still. They're just young and they need to be nurtured and get used to this. You do a good job on it. And you don't get upset and say, oh, I like to do that. That's a nice time. It's like going to the spa, they say. So, now, I cut there. You can see this. Okay, can you see that? That's nice and clean. You notice I didn't cut up here. Left that alone, and I trimmed here. Now, the thing is, I could do a little bit more. This hair is going to clump, so I'm not getting tight here, but I'm just cutting it a little bit off there. In the back, behind, underneath, like that. Just like that. Now, she'll be able to run and play a lot better with this clean. And even if you're not grooming her, every night when you brush her or pet her or cuddle up with her, you should kindly reach in their paw here like this, make sure there's no rock. And River's always getting little things in there, and he loves it when I do it. He licks me, and I'm like, River, give me a break. But he loves to have this cleaned out once in a while. And let's see, make sure there's no thorns or anything. In fact, I feel something here I might want to work on. There, see, got that little piece out there. That's a little thorn that annoyed her every time, but she never complains. So while I'm here, I'm going to brush this out and show you I didn't touch the bottom. You won't even notice that after the dog is all pretty and cleaned up. See, because this will be on the bottom, and that's where it's like the bottom of your feet. Okay? So I'm going to try the next paw. I got to go through 4 of them. It's a long process, but you need to be even and finish up your work and do a good job. So I'm going to introduce this to Grace. There you go, sweetheart. I'm just going to clean up. And this works well. And I'm just pushing down on that back pad here a little bit. And you could use a bigger one. Bigger one's a little harder. Definitely, I haven't had this that long. You get these at the pet store, Petco. Or no, I think you get this at the hardware store, True Value. The little doggy groomer thing. Not made for grooming all of her hair, but places like this, it works out real well. And we'll use this on the face also. So you notice I'm cleaning back here. Okay. Getting that hair so it doesn't get caught up in there. And I'm trying to get close on the bottom, not the top. Just around the plaids. I'm going to push on this pad here. I want to just get as much as you can and without annoying them. And I know they get real ticklish and they don't like it sometimes, but just do your best. And it isn't about doing it perfectly. They just love it when they don't have anything rubbing their feet in their pads. So I'm going to go around on the bottom, and you push that open. Now watch when I push that open. You see all that hair? So once I push that open, I'll dip that in there. And get as much as I can, but you don't need to force anything. No forcing here, no, because this is real sensitive, just like your hands, and you don't want to hurt them there, because you know how much it hurts when your hands get cut. So you make sure you're not cutting them, and if they yip or something, you stop and make sure everything's okay. And here we go. You're doing real good, Gracie. Perfect. You're just a chill mom, aren't you? Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more. Get away from here. We did this one, and you see, you know, it's not the most fun part about trimming them, but it's kind of something that makes them real happy. So I'm going to cut a little bit off here. A little extra. These scissors are terrible. I'll eventually find the scissors that I got that is perfect. Yeah, this is pretty good. I'm not trimming a lot, I'm just trimming. These scissors are terrible. So hard to get good scissors. Okay. So, I'm going to show you again where, okay, right here, right in here, and notice when I turn the paw over, I'm not cutting up here at all, so don't think you have to mess with this. We're going to do that real easy. That's the simple part. But, as I mentioned to you, this is one of the things that really makes a perfect doodle cut. And it takes a little bit of work, because you got to do 4 paws, and yeah, they sometimes don't like it, so you gotta try to keep them calm and let them know that everything's all right, and you just gotta keep working away. Let's see if I can turn this a little bit, get it down a little bit. You can see me working on this paw here. Gracie, you want to show me your paw a little better? So I'm going to be getting right there. Remember, we're going to do in here, we're going to do here, and around here, okay? That's all we're going to do. Now, if you don't have one of these, don't let that stop you. Use scissors, but be careful, because you don't want to cut her pads, okay? So you go right there, you can carefully push this up and try to trim that off. Little scissors work good if you can find them that are sharp, and I got them. It's just a matter of finding one that works well. Does the job. Nothing worse. So you see why you have to be real careful with the scissors. So if you can't get to it, don't try too hard, because you're going to hurt the puppy. So just do your best. Believe me, you're treating them right here when you do this. Some people don't realize that, and the dogs are really uncomfortable sometimes, and it's like wearing big army boots or shoes that give you blisters. They really enjoy this. So I'll push that pad open. Do a little bit of this. And on the last one, I'm going to show you that you can use a regular clipper. You don't have to buy. This is really inexpensive, like $10 battery. And Very, very good. So remember, I said I'm just doing right back here. I'm going to do a little bit of this hair that's cut, but not real close. Okay. So let's see. How's this? Just a little bit more. There we go. Oh, she's going to like that. You're going to like that, aren't you? See, so I push down right on the back pad. So I want you to see, again, just this area, and around here. I didn't touch up here. I left this alone because I'm going to use that to make her look gorgeous, okay? So there's that paw. We did 1, 2, 3. Now we got another one, and this time I'm going to try to show you that you can use the big, I'm going to do it with the big clippers. So let's see, I hope this clipper is good. I'm going to take the attachment off of the clippers. Alright, and this is just a straight clipper. But be careful, because this could cut a lot of hair. We don't want to cut a lot of hair. We're just doing maintenance on her. So I'm going to come in here and work in here and here. See all that hair? Extra. Okay. So here we go. This, you got to be careful. But you got to introduce Grace to it. Let her hear it. Oh, it's okay, Grace. Don't worry. Okay. And then I come in here, and this is a little harder to work because it's bigger. And if you make a mistake, you can make a bigger mistake. And you're going to make a mistake, make a little mistake. It's a lot easier. So, okay, there we go. So we're using the big one. You can push it through there. There you go. So you can do that with these big clippers too. Again, I'm not on the top, I'm just on the bottom here, around the pads, trying to get as much of that loose hair out of the pads, and push, pull, but most importantly, don't force anything, or don't get real heavy-handed. You gotta be real light-handed, and then you gotta kind of, if she jerks or something, then you're messing up, and you need to be aware that she. So I know this is very hard with puppies, but once they get a good manicure like this is kind of like a manicure for some people. Only, oh, we got to talk about nails, don't we? Yeah, I'll talk to you about nails, okay? I can't believe it. We're almost done with all this, and it's not the funnest part. That's why I try to do it at the beginning. Okay, a little bit more here. There you go. So this worked out pretty good. So you don't need a big one, you don't need a scissor, you just need whatever works. But most importantly, you gotta understand this is real sensitive down here, and you can't be forcing anything. Even these electric clippers, they will nick them, and you don't want to nick them. I have nicked, and I feel so bad when that happens, but it's not a bad, it's just a little teeny nick. Okay, so this looks great. Let me show you how this looks. So we did around here, over here, and around that, and we're going to turn the foot over. I'm going to show you. I didn't touch the top part. You leave that so you can work with that later. We're going to work with that to shape and make her look real nice, okay? And I'm real happy. She's going to love that. Okay. All right. Now, one thing that's a tough thing is nails. And everybody, you got to be really, really careful. No matter how many times you do it, it's terrible. Sometimes the dogs don't want you to do it, and I don't blame them, because most people mess it up. So there's a couple ways of doing it, and if you walk them and run them on concrete, you don't really even need to do it, because it's like a nail file. So let's take a look at, we've got to inspect the nails. Now, what I found that instead of messing with it, because these particular kind of dogs, some dogs, when you have a nail on a dog, here's the tip. If you look at it, you'll see a pink flesh part there, and you've got to stay in front of that. So you just cut a little bit and never cut into this part of the, if you can see it through the nail. But these dogs, their nails are so dark, it's kind of hard. So, and they get good exercise, so they don't need their nails clipped that much. I use a real simple thing, and again, you don't need to have one of these to do that, but I found this works pretty good. But sometimes even I have a bag just for nail clippers and things like that. If I see one, I'm going to clip it. And you can use a regular emery board, they call it. It's a fingernail file, and you kind of get that sharpness out. Now, you can do that with real simple, and you can get that anywhere, or this is kind of hard and it annoys me a lot because this is kind of strange. It's like a jackhammer on their nail. But I turn this on, little spinning emery pad, and I introduce it to the dog. Now it's a big place, man. And I tried it, and some dogs really fight it. It's tickles. So I just did her nail real nice so it won't be sharp. Try to be, but oh, gotta be careful. You're not, you just, oh shoot, grab my hair, so you gotta get that nail separated. So I'd say that nail's really good. Now sometimes they don't need it at all, but sometimes they need it. Now if I was trying to cut her, I see that thing there, and I don't want to go near it, because what will happen is if you cut too back far on the nail, it'll start bleeding, and you gotta find a way to stop that bleeding. And the dog will hurt. She'll say, "Ow!" But it doesn't hurt them too bad. They get over it quick. But you don't want anything. You don't do anything else until you stop that bleeding. And it happens. But I find I don't happen here with this thing at all. But I have the clippers. Oh man, I hate it when I mess up. So you come over to this right here. You have to find all of her nails. There's 5 of them. And you got to do all of them. So that's 5 nails times 4. I got to do this 20 times. And believe me, sometimes your puppy will say, "Oh, you should do my back paw." But they don't want you to do the front paws. They're like, no, 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 they won't let you near. You just got to try your best and don't get upset, because then they know something's wrong when you're upset. They don't like that. So we just did this one. We've got to do this one, but I'm going to go up here to the front because it might, let's say she's laying here, I'll keep her like this and I'll roll over and do the other side. Now I'm going to look at her nail. And you don't have to do this. If I feel it with my finger, I say, "Oh, that's good." I look at it, say, it's healthy, not too long. Maybe we should take a little bit off of there. You know, I really, because when it gets too curly, that's not good. If you don't cut these, or if they don't get enough exercise, that nail will literally start growing in circles, and it will bother them, and they'll let you know. I mean, I've seen doggies come up to me limping, saying, "Hey, my nail, it hurts. Could you take a look at it?" And I say, "Sure." So right now, I'm just getting her. She looks like she's got her nails, and the best way to manicure her nails is just let them play out in the yard. They run on concrete and asphalt and just like this emery board. it keeps them nice and sharp. But yes, they do grow, and if they are sharp and you don't like it, they don't like it either. So try to, let's say I'm feeling all of her nails, make sure they're good. I can do a little more hair. You want to get the sharpness out so they don't get caught on stuff and they don't hurt you when they get excited. Okay, so Gracie, give me a second here. Can I do the other side, please? All right. So we're going to try to get you over to this side, and I'll do the other side, and then we'll do some other things. Okay. So as I say, this is one of the steps of the process. We did the paws. Now we got to get these two paws. Take a look at them. It doesn't mean you always have to do it, but it'll make it feel nice. Let's see where. There we go. Okay, Gracie, relax, sweetheart. Just try to get your nails nice. And sometimes you have to get really good at this, and it's kind of hard to work with at first. So I'm a little bit used to it. But this is a great way to do it. You can't mess up. You just run it nice like that, an emery board, okay? Do that like, just like you like the ladies like to do their nails real nice. You're not going to get crazy, but you're going to make their nails feel real good. And they're not going to scratch you. And that's one of the big reasons. But people that let these nails go, some dogs, they develop where they start limping, they can't walk. It's painful. So we got one more leg to do here. And it's this one here. I'm going to check it. And I'm going to go back to my old thing so I can speed this up a little bit. And it is hard. Many dogs won't let you in there. But these dogs, they love to be babied. And they feel good. So that's it. You got to make this feel good, the whole process. Otherwise, they're gonna run, or they're not gonna like it. Now, admittedly, Grace doesn't get all excited when I go to wash her. In fact, she runs and hides. She knows. Okay. All right, Gracie. So let's see. What are we gonna do next? We did her legs. Okay. Now. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the face. But I think we're going to take a break here, and we're going to, and we did a lot of good work here on the paws, because it's very important to try to do it regularly. That, you know, not every time you wash them, just once a month or so. So we're going to take a break. I'm going to let Grace run around a little bit and stretch. And then we'll come back and we'll do her face, and then we'll trim her body. And so that's 3 more things about we've got to work on. Oh, you know what? While we're here, why don't we do it? So since we got her so relaxed, one thing you want to do, and you don't have to have your dog like this. They could be in your lap, but you have to have it safe, and so you can work and they're not jerking around and all. So you got their ears. A lot of times it seems like it clumps up in here, so if you've got a thinning shears, or if you've ever used one, you can thin it up in here. In fact, it seems like sometimes she needs a lot of hair. This will be a little shorter than a lot of the areas, because it does get clumped. Now I'm right by the ear. That's just little stuff. Okay, now what you got to be real careful is you should always check her ear inner, and you should try to make sure that she doesn't have excessive hair. Now I did put a little ear wash in here today when I washed, so I know she's nice and clean. Her ear, she should be inspected. Try to pull out any excess hair. That means bring it up and trim it short because they actually can have problems if that hair's not once in a while checked. You gotta be real careful. Okay. And then as I mentioned, this hair here kind of just gets in the way, really. So that's that ear. I'm going to do a little bit here with the thinner because it's kind of thick, and you can feel where all it's going to do is get in trouble and just mat up. But I don't want to cut deep. I just want to thin it out so it doesn't get all matted later. Okay? So that's that. Now I'm going to do the one more ear, and then we're going to take that break. I'm going to come over here. We're going to do this side here. There you go, sweetheart. Oh, yeah. Don't you wish your little doggy would be this cooperative? She is a sweetheart. Okay, sweetheart, here we go. Now we're going to work on her ear, okay? So, I open it up, pull out any, try to make it so that there's a little hair. Now I keep her pretty trim. Here, I try to not actually cut the hair around the ear, but sometimes a little bit too much hair grows out of that ear. And as I mentioned, I did put a little doggy ear wash. You know, I didn't make a big deal about it because it can drive them nuts. You put a little bit in their ear canal, and it's really convenient when you're giving her a bath. But let's say she's scratching or itching here or something. Something's maybe in there. And sometimes they do get dirty. So you put that in there, and it didn't bother her while she's taking a bath. But if I did it now, she'd be going, shaking her head, going crazy. But you take a towel after you put a little bit in there, and you turn them over with a towel over in here, and you help her get it out, and let her shake her head, and she'll shake it out. And and I've also used very carefully Q-tips if it's dirty, like dirty around there. Q-tip it out around there. So now I'm going to do just a little of this hair. This is not the important hair. You're mainly trying to get here, but I'm going to save ourselves some time because this hair gets a little bulky. I'm just trying to make sure that see it there. I'm not trying to trim her really. I'm just thinning out hair so that it can grow a little bit. Okay. Then it won't mat up in there. Most of these dogs, I guarantee you, they're really good about not, at least Gracie is in River, not matting up, because we normally take care of them, but under here it always seems to mat up a little. There's always something, no matter how many times you take it away. Okay, so we're going to take a break now, and then we're going to come back and do your pretty face. Grace, he's so mellow. I don't know, Grace, do you want to do your face now? So I don't have to, so we can get this over. How about that? Okay, let's see. Maybe we'll do her face. Okay. So Gracie, good girl. I gotta turn that nail thing on. All right, I got you. Okay. So what I need is this, and those scissors seem pretty good. Let's see about this. Okay. Now we're going to do her face, and I hope you can see this, but you see this right here? Okay, so we want to preserve that beautiful golden look, okay? And it's kind of a style. It's not, there's all, I mean, I have dogs that I train with that were doodles, and the people that own, they never even cut their hair once. They just let them go. But you want to give these guys, let them pop out like doodles. Now, one thing that you notice is that the eyes kind of get dirty all the time, right in the corners. Well, a good way to do it, I take from about right here, to right here, and I trim that really good so that they like it because of the dirt that's sticking all. So we're not worried about this or this right now. We're going to worry about the nose bridge. And see how I don't even have to trim it that much because I take care of this, but I should try to keep that nice and not hair going in their in their eyes. So I'm going to work in this area here, and I could take a big clipper, or this little one's real nice, but these clippers work nice in here. This looks kind of scary, but you just stay right there. You're not going down the nose or anything. You're trying to clear it in here. And see, sometimes I go like this. Okay, see that? And then see this right here? I want to get rid of that, so I'm going to kind of, there we go. Now, it seems kind of crazy, but you kind of clean this up a little bit. Oh, you're such a cool. Just let it. Okay, I would clean that up a little bit, because this stuff, as you know, you get those little clumps, but we're not, I haven't done anything major. I've just done hygiene to where I've made it easy for that stuff not to stick. Now, sometimes I'll take a scissors, I'll push up the hair here. You got to be so careful in here. Okay, sweetheart, you're so good, go. And then I got these scissors with, I go, oh, okay, good girl. So, now, we did that really good. Now, I'm going to give you, that's the most important thing about, they do need eye care because they get the hair gets in them. So, now, we just did the, let's see if I can find the brush, and we'll do, here's the brush. Gracie, come on up, you're doing really good there. Come on up here, honey. Up again, up one more time. Come on. I'm going to have you do this one more time. Oh, come here, sweetheart. Okay. Well, we'll try to do this. So, when I talk to you about the crown of the head, that's basically this right here, all around here. This is like her crown. We want to take really nice care of this. We want to take care of it, and we want to shape it around the base, and we want to shape the face. So, we're going to make sure we got good hair, like that. Alright, trying to style this part here. And this is not the hardest, but you have to be real careful. And sometimes you don't do it right, and you just have to do it better next time. Okay, so I take my finger and come in here. I'm trying to keep a flow that way. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to cut, and I'm not going to go crazy, okay? I'm just going to make sure it's all nice and beautiful. And I'm going to see how it falls after I do that. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Now, Gracie, she got a nice thing here, but I think she wants to see some more, so I'm going to take a little more off of here so that it's a little easier for her to see. She'll still look pretty, but you've got to keep the angle going that way, so not too much. We're going to go in a little bit. Okay, now let's take a look here. So yeah, I think you like that better, and I got more there. And so, like I say, you kind of get it like that. You can take those loose ends off. The loose ends being just, you know, look so nice, but you don't want to get too straight. Now, what a lot of people do is when they cut a straight line like that with the doodles, they have a technique where okay, so when they cut a straight line like that, people say, oh, it looks straight. I don't like it when it looks straight. Or it looks too cut. So what they do is they go, after they finish their straight cut, they'll take a thinning scissors, and just gently do a little, and it makes it all jagged again, and it looks like it was never even cut. I'm going to say that's it, but Let's see, Gracie. So you hold her head up. I'm looking good, Grace. Okay, now you got to get the other side. Same thing. Let's brush it out. Okay. Now you got it. The hard part is not getting her to do it, but getting your angle so you can cut. So you got to be going this way. So you got to get in here like this, and I got to use this finger to cut. So I'm going to do this. I use my fingers to guide me. So I come up in here, and I get this angle going that way. I pull it a little bit, and we'll just trim it. There we go, Grace. You use it straight up to the ceiling. Okay, come on, let's see. How do we do here? Let's take a little more. Let's see, sweetheart. Let's see. Okay, so a little bit. And believe me, you don't always do it perfect the first time, but you learn and you do it better the next time. Okay, I can see. Okay, these scissors have a slam, so I'll use that slam. Oh yes, yeah, gorgeous. Real gentle. Okay, good. Okay, so we're getting there. This is a little wool. It's going to get in her eyes later. Okay. Now, we're going to work some more with the face here. Okay, so then we're going to comb out with a regular comb. Works well. Try to get this straightened out. Gently go in there. Okay, now we want to have an edge going down that way. And so you come in here and you get your finger like that. And you don't have to take off a lot, but just start in close and go that way with your. Okay, now as I mentioned, some people don't like that straight, so they go like this. And that makes it nice. Okay, now, one little trick that you could do to be good to your dog is that you trim around a little bit around their jaw. So you have to be real careful because it's real sensitive skin in there, you know. So I trim around there. That's nice. And there's some of these. So you make sure that's nice and clean, like that's a little bit. You gotta be careful because it's, oh, now they're just gonna blow it, Gracie. Okay, good. You gotta be real careful. Okay, good. Alright, that's great, hon. Now let's do your, let's say, beard a little bit more. Okay, come here, sweetheart. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to do something in here. I'm going to try to get in here, do a little thinning, okay? There we go. But I didn't cut her hair. I just thinned it, and I shaped it down. Okay, now I'm going to kind of want to go here, and I'm going to trim anything about these two fingers like that. I can trim, but don't be straight crazy like I've got to do a straight line. Be, you know, kind of, any good person that cuts hair, they cut all over, you know, not in specific straight areas. So I'd say you're doing pretty good here. Look, good. You see. Okay, let's brush it out. Good. Okay, let's get this side here. There, go right there. Okay, good. Okay, hang on, kids. So I don't like that. And now I need to get that angle, okay? This is kind of her mustache or whatever. So here we go here. I'm going to do that with this right here. that straight edge so I can, Grace, come. Come. Relax, relax. That angle down here. Up, up, up. See, looks real easy, but you gotta get it so it's, there we go. Alright, you're making it difficult for me, huh? No, I'm making it difficult. Okay, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back and we'll show you how, I guess we won't take a break. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do another section. So we did the feet, the ears, the eyes, okay? Now this is the next part. Remember I said about the crown. Try to leave the crown alone, not get too crazy on it. So you know it's like right here. And then this is all separate. So what you do is, I never use the electric scissors up here. I always take my finger and you just squeeze it together. And I don't go crazy. I'm not trying to cut all kinds of straight lines. But anything over this, I don't need. See, and I'm not, you just put your fingers there. And you do it evenly all around. Okay? If it's bigger than that, then I know I'm doing good, okay? So you just, now you don't have to get real pressure and all that. Just don't be trying to take off a lot of hair. Just make this like a wild party up here. Let's see. A little bit more here. And you'll see, you're not trying to cut straight lines or anything. Just get all of this area here nice, clean. No more than that. You're trying to make a pom-pom up here. All even, but it's okay. So, look up there. Alright. Good. Okay. Got a little bit more here. Now, okay, we don't want to go too crazy. We want to stay up in the, just the crown areas I mentioned. We're going to do everything different after this, okay? So stay in the crown, just make it nice and even. And don't get carried away, just if it's even, it's going to look great. Okay, let's see. Okay, something going on here with this here. I don't know what it is. Let's put a little thinner scissors in it. See if that would help it. Okay, good. Okay. Let's see how he looks here. Okay, so, okay, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back, and we'll do the rest of the haircut. Hi, Okay, so now we're going to finish up Grace with trimming or clipping her main part of her body, because we've already done the face and the legs, and now we're getting to a big part of the process. And Grace is here and she's all calm. In fact, she's almost too calm. And I know when you work on your puppies, they might be a little bit more sensitive or resistant, but you just need to be patient, and as they get older they get more relaxed with the procedure and they actually start to enjoy it. So here we go. I'm gonna put this camera down on Grace a little bit better, and we're gonna trim the main part of her body. Okay, so Grace, would you get up? Up. Okay. Yes. So, as I mentioned, the crown of the head, try to leave that alone. So that means from here down. And then we're going to go down her body with the clippers, and we're not going to get near the tail. We're going to leave this area of the tail. We're going to leave that area of the tail alone. We'll shave from here, here, everywhere on her body except the tail, and we leave the head up here alone. Okay? And you can't make a mistake here too much. It's very easy to just do it. And what you need to do is have the clippers, and you have the clippers, and make sure you have the 3/8 head on the clipper, not the just like that, but we put this on there, and this goes on there, 3/8, and that's just enough distance. It's about like this right here on my fingers. If you weren't going to use an electronic clipper, that's okay. You could use regular scissors, and how you could do is you would cut a dog entirely with just scissors. You would use your fingers as a spacer, like right here. So everything above my fingers gets cut. The hard part about this is that you've got to do the whole body, and there's a lot of little spaces, so you have to spend a lot of time trying to get it even. But with these particular dogs, it's very easy to use the clippers on them, so it's worth the investment of a decent clipper. Save you a lot of time, and it'll look a lot better, especially when you get started. When you get a little more experience, you could clip the whole body with just scissors, but very time consuming, and it's easy to make a mistake too. So easy with this. Now I'll take the clipper, I'm going to introduce it to Grace so it doesn't startle her. There we go, Grace. There we go. So as I mentioned, what you're going to do is you're going to stay from here down, so you literally go in there and start going back. Start going back like that. Okay. You go in towards the tail. You got to have the hair pretty well combed out so that the clippers can go through it. And it looks like we're taking a lot of hair off, and we are, but it's a measured hair. And you'll have some place you can put your hair that falls off. You want to try to keep your work area clean. Most importantly, you want to clean up after you're done so that nobody's inconvenienced by you cutting and making a mess. It's not a mess if you clean it up. So I'm moving back. From here is my kind of starting point, just right at the back of the neck, and I'm going back this way, and you'll see it just gets easier and easier. You can't do it all at once. You got to keep though even. Go back, take the hair, collect it up. I've got a trash can there. So now you need to get every spot on her. And I'm going to do her whole body with this clipper head of 3/8 on there, which seems to work real well with her. Now, if you wanted a longer one, you could use a 1/2 inch. If you like the longer, furrier hair, which might be nice for the winter because it'll keep them warmer. And then in the summer, you might go with the shorter one. And you could even do shorter if you like shorter. Now, sometimes their hair gets so matted up, or you've just got such a mess on their hair and it's not growing in properly. You could shave. A lot of people shave their dogs down with even a smaller head than this, but I don't see the reason for that on these particular dogs. It's pretty hard to have any problem. You can usually solve it. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Always in this similar direction. Okay, we want to be going in one direction towards her tail. Okay, maybe at some point, if there's an area later that doesn't want to trim down, you might go back this way, but we don't want to go back that way right now. We want to go down, even down, down, see, down, even all the way to the tip of her toe. Every leg, you're going to do her legs like this. That's right. There, good. Oh, see how ticklish? She's kind of a little ticklish. Good girl, Grace. You got to get all even. Get the front. Start up here. Come down. There you go. Calm down. Good. Oh, Gracie. I know it's sometimes a lot harder with the puppies that are just learning about this, or you're just doing it for the first time. So come down like that. I'm always going so we have a nice, even trim on it. Okay. So here we go. And we're getting her ready. As I've told you, Grace is expecting puppies any day now. So she's very relaxed. And we're going to get her really nice and comfortable for when the new puppies arrive. The hair will be just right. Not too much and not too little. Sometimes you have to clean out your clipper head. You should stop and clean out the clipper head. And you can use I find that a toothbrush works real well if you have a toothbrush around, or a little teeny brush that usually comes with the clippers. You clean that out periodically because it gets full of hair, and once it's full of hair, it doesn't want to clip, so we've got to clean that out, see? But before we get started and go back to trimming Gracie, we have to put this on carefully, make sure it's on good and tight, and we can go back to cutting her hair again. And see, you just need to get every last little inch, but do it in nice long strokes. That's a good girl, Gracie. So you want to come down her stomach, but you want to be going headed towards her tail. All right. See, this is so easy. That's right. Always with that head on. Occasionally clean it out. You don't want to miss any place because then it'll look kind of funny. So if you manage to comfortably get this around everywhere, you're going to see how beautiful it looks. See, it gets stuck once in a while, so you got to be careful. You'd like it to just flow through, and I know that all your puppies probably have that kind of hair that'll let you do it, especially if they're clean from a bath, and you've been, once in a while, you've been brushing them out, making sure their hair is healthy. Okay. And then I'm going to even, as I mentioned, I want you, you could go back on your areas if you maybe missed a little segment. There's no reason you can't go back. It's a lot of this, trying to catch every bit of it. Now, as I say, we did this first leg wash like that. That's one, and I keep doing it because it's going to get perfect. Sometimes you miss some hair. The hardest part on the legs is the back, because it's a little more coarse and hard to get to. But there we go. Nice and even. It'll look so pretty when you finish it because it's all even. It looks real natural. It doesn't even, this looks like a show dog. So you could go everywhere on her body once you get those essentials done. Now, I just showed you the front paw, how I did the front leg here. Well, you keep going back, and then I'm going to come back and do the back paw the same way with the same clipper head. It's all going to be the same length. Going to go all the way to the tip of her toe. Watch this. Here we go. There we go. All the way down. All the way down. There we go. We can't make a mistake here. Very easy if you properly have this on. Okay. We want to get as much as we can. Missed the back, so we're going to get the back. It's the paws are, or the legs are a little hard. See, she's ticklish. I mentioned that she's always been ticklish in her back leg since she was a puppy. It's not that she doesn't want to have it done, but it tickles her. Sometimes it feels so good she can't take it. You know how sometimes being tickled feels good. So I'm getting this, but I'm always going down or back. And I stay away from the tail. I'm going to get by the tail, and then I'm going to do some really careful work so that I don't mess up her tail. Her tail is a special part of her, just like her face is. So you can do everywhere on her body. And the more you do on her body, the better it's going to look, because it's going to be all even. And if you put a lot of effort in a trimmer and you miss a spot later, you can go back and do this the next day. Sometimes after I trim her, I'm always for a couple of days say, oh, I missed a spot. And I'll either do it with, you don't have to get the clippers out, but sometimes I just get the scissors out and do that little area that I possibly missed. Okay, so you see she's doing real well. Keep her tail out of the way. Now sometimes, I mentioned, don't go this way, but sometimes on the back paws you have to go that way. you have to change directions. Not very often, just the back is where it's a little hard to get to. But here's the deal, if you get to it and it's got that head on there, it's not going to be a problem. Oops, let's see, oops, my mistake. I'm sorry, Gracie. Okay, sometimes we have to clean these heads because if you don't clean them, they're not really cooking. Okay, make sure that's on there good. See, oh, it's going back to cooking. Check that head again. And the best thing for that type of thing is, I don't have one right now handy, but I use an older toothbrush that I was going to throw away possibly, and I might use that on her. So we're coming back here, we're doing this leg. Take hair, and you should have a trash can nearby where you can put some hair so it doesn't go all over the house or the floor. If some gets on the floor, that's okay. You want to be careful. Sometimes I go backwards on the back of the legs. Sometimes, because I want it to be all even. So I'm going everywhere with this. And I want to make sure my clippers are healthy, so I will have to clean them. You have to do that occasionally. Make sure that they're not clogged up with hair. And that's normal. Okay, we're doing good, Gracie. So I've got a lot done on this side of her body. And Gracie's laying down, which is real nice, but it's easier when they're standing up. Now I'm going to hold her tail right at the very end, and I'm going to get around it a little bit. Start this, but I'll take real care of this. Okay, you go in here. So I've got a good portion of her done. You want to come from the top, back, down, up, back, down, in the next row, in the next row. Now she's got really nice, and keep going down strokes. Okay, sometimes I pull up the hair and I run that across in areas that are a little tough. This is real fine hair, so I want to guide it into the clippers. It's real fine, so I make sure that the clippers can get to it. There we go. Just you have to be patient. Grace has been such a good dog. Now, you can go on her stomach with that attachment on. This takes practice, and it takes a cooperative dog, of course, but oh, we're doing real good. Gracie's been so good. And this hair is very fine down here, so you sometimes have to coax it into the trimmer. Now, your dog does not have to be in this position. Sometimes you don't get a choice, and you gotta compromise and let them do it in a position that they're comfortable with you doing this to them. It is a struggle sometimes with some dogs, but if you keep at it and keep them calm, and let them understand you're not going to hurt them, they're going to let you take care of them. Now I'm going to start doing the back of this leg here since I've got it here. And I'll go back to it when I turn her over and work on this side. But since I'm here, I'm going to take advantage of it. And I'm going to do some work in here while I got her. Okay, I'm going to do the leg from this side, since I've got it here. As I mentioned on this, sometimes I have to go back on the paws, on the back particularly. Yes, Gracie, you ticklish? I can feel a little bit here I need. And as I mentioned, sometimes I go back here, but this is only for areas you can't get. You go back toward the opposite direction. Not often. It looks so nice when you get this all even. See, it's a little heavy right here, so I'll try to work this area so I can get it even. Okay. We're going down now, again back to the same direction. That's good, Gracie. But you gotta stay away from the tail. So I put my hand here, so I'm not gonna get near the tail. And even do their backside here with the same clipper head on it. Got my hand on the tail so I won't get near it. That's good. Now you just make everything all smooth and even. Going in the same direction. Got my hand on the tail so I don't go near it with the clippers. Okay, so I think we've done this side of her. And we're going to try to turn her. Let's do a little bit right here. Let's try to get, so you keep her head, remember, don't do the upper part of her head, just around her neck. Okay. Clean out the clippers once in a while. Keep your hand on the crown, and then you won't go up near there. So, around the neck. Down her chest. Okay, keeping your crown, leave that alone up there. Okay. Good. Alright, now let's see. Let's clean the clippers and turn her over. Okay, so you gotta clean that out. Okay. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna put it back on there nice and secure. And maybe I'll clean a little hair up here. Put this in the trash. Okay, Gracie, you want to turn over for me? Let's see about it. Can I get you to turn over? There. I'm going to take you over here. I'm going to get some of this hair. Now I'm going to put it in the trash. Then I'm going to flip you over, Gracie. Ready? Here we go. There we go. Okay, so now, again, leave this alone and keep the tail alone. Now we got all kinds of hair we're going to take off, so we start up in this area. I don't usually get up towards there first. I kind of start in a lower area here, and I'll come back and touch that up perfectly later. So sometimes it doesn't go through all the way, so you got to back up on this and kind of slowly push it through. So you're heading towards the back tail, aren't you? Okay, like that. Heading back. Okay. Right, Gracie, you're doing real good. So, I got to figure out where I left off on the other side and catch up to it so that we've got both sides done. Remember? We did the other side. Now you're heading towards the back. Get rid of that hair. Okay, you're heading towards the tail. So I do it nice, even, connected, overlapping, I should say, rows, so that all that hair there is evenly cut. And all ends up being cut, so. this up with the other side that I just cut. Okay, if you get a little resistance, don't force it, because that head will fall off, and we don't want that. So we're going to clean it. You got to periodically clean your clippers because they get full of hair. You're doing so much work. Take the brush that comes, or a toothbrush. I know I repeat myself, but okay, we clean this out again. Okay. Okay, good. Put it back on. There we go. Yeah. Now I can put my hand on the tail so I don't go near it. Okay, now I'm going to be going down on the body towards the back. Down on the leg, all the way on the leg. Make sure her ear's out of the way. And I'll try to catch this up to her leg. This transition between the neck and the leg, you want to get nice and smooth. Even. Yes. Go back. Back. Keep going evenly. Down her stomach. Round the stomach, round the stomach. There you go. Make sure we're all good up here. And you'll be able to see a little bit later where you maybe missed a certain area. And then you gotta try a little harder to get it even. Sometimes going slowly helps. See, as long as we're taking off hair, we're doing a good job. See, once you get here and you're not taking off any more hair, then you don't have to do it anymore. If you notice, I'm not cutting any hair because it's all nice and even right now. Okay. And so you try to get that consistency around the rest of her body. All over. Okay, now, since it would be a lot easier if I could turn her. I'm going to turn her here, and I'm going to protect her head up here, but do a little bit of the base of the neck here, and this transition down. Okay, but I want to stay away from the top of the head. Okay, so I put my hand there to protect me from overdoing it. Okay, so I Clean this up a lot. It gets clogged up. Okay. Collect that here. Trash. Okay. Alright, clean the blade. Get the hair out of the areas there. Okay. And you go back to work. Okay. But be sure that's on there good. Sometimes you get sloppy and you don't put it on tight and you'll make a big mistake. I guarantee you. So I'm going to even this up and then flip her over to where I can get to her a little easier there. But while she's here, I'm going to get this all perfectly blended with the rest of her hair. Yeah. 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 Okay. Let's see. That's cool, right? Okay, so, what, I'm not done yet, Gracie. No, I'm not. Just stay there for a second. This looks good, I like it. Okay. Oh, you're looking good, Grace. Okay, I'm gonna try to clean these real quick. And take this here. Okay, I got some hair, put it in the trash. Okay, Gracie, you're looking great. Can I bring you over this way and do it this way? So this is going to be a little easier for me. And that's what you want to do, is if she'll work with you, make it easy on yourself and her. So. Okay, you want to come all the way down from the top to the bottom of the toes, all the way down, evenly. It'll look so nice. I know it's sometimes hard, but turn around here. I have to trick it. And Gracie is just a little ticklish. And we're all a little ticklish, so that's not a big deal. She lets me. She knows I'm trying to always try to go this direction. Except when you're having trouble getting an area like the back of this, is always a trouble. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to this area, come down, try to even make this all nice and heading towards the back. Okay, we're doing good. I can tell we're doing good because hair's not coming off. So now I want to get below here, and this hair is so fine that I kind of give it a little pull up. But I'm not going to cut it any more than I want to because of see, sometimes this hair doesn't cut because you get a little tension on it. This is the super fine hair that's on their underbelly. Okay. Oh yes, you're ticklish, aren't you, Gracie? All right. And as I said, reverse a little bit sometimes in here. Okay. I know Gracie is a great example, but maybe too great because most dogs don't let you take care of them like this, but I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that I know it's not going to be that easy for you to get your dog to hold still or get him in the right position. And that's the whole key. Right position and get him to hold still. And not be spooked out or upset. And if it gets to be where they're a little nervous that day, try to take a break and find them when they're more calm. So I'm going to come back, I'm going to come in here. You know, it seems like I'm doing the legs a lot, but you're going to be impressed with how nice the legs look if you do them all nice and good. from the ears and stay away from the top of their little poof crown on their head. And now remember I said I go back a little bit later and I tune it up in here. I got my hand on the crown. I'm going back, just relieving some of that hair in the collar where the doggy collar normally goes. And I'll flip that ear back, and I'll do a little bit below the ear, thin out that hair, but stay away from the face and the upper part going down. There we go. So stay away from that. There we go. Good girl. And I'm using my hand up on top here like a guide so I don't get too close to that crown of hers, okay? There we go. And I know where I'm at because my hand's up there. Okay. So let's see this sticking out here? Well, I don't know if you can see it, but alright. Coming down. All the way to the tip of her toe. All the way to the tippy toe. Come down. That's right. Come down. There we go. You want to keep going here, so keep coming down. Keep coming down. Evening down. See, there's no specific pattern. It's just you know that when you do it right, it's right, and I'll miss some spots, but I'll not worry because I'll get them. Sometimes you have to let them stand up and walk around a little bit. Okay, I think I need to clean this up again. See how dirty that is? So clean that out. I put some of this in the trash. Okay. What helps sometimes is you kind of fluff their hair, and you can catch places you need to go back and do a little bit. Okay. All right. So we got the head on. You always make sure you have the head on because it's easy to forget. Okay. So now we're coming to the rear, and again, you want to find where that tail is. You want to protect it. You can come back here and cut as much as you want, as long as you don't go on the tail area. Okay. We'll trim up that base of the tail in a little bit. We'll talk about that, but you keep coming back. Back. Raise that tail. And I suggest you do all the hind quarters now. So lift up that tail and hold it. And come down. All nice and even. Be careful in here. Okay. That's good. But I got my hand on the tail. And we're not going to touch that until later. We're going to learn how to trim. We'll do a little work on that. But right now, you want to get back in the back here. Same length. Put your hand on the tail so you don't.
okay, if you do a good job in here, it'll be easier to clean in the future. Okay. So, oops, I'm sorry, Grace. That's my fault. Ah, yeah. Okay. This is where I say it gets hard underneath here. Gotta go backwards sometimes. Get forward on this. But you're mostly going to be going down towards the toe. Oh, we don't want that. See, that's why you have to be real careful, right? That's how you have to react. Is take your time. Oh, I'm sorry, Grace. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Can I finish up a little bit? Can I keep going? It's okay, sweetheart. Oh, thanks. You're such a girl. Well, I probably accidentally hit her in a bad spot down there because these are kind of sharp and they could be painful. So that's why you got to be gentle and try to be even, because if you're even, they won't be sticking or poking her. But I guess I got a little uneven. And of course, Grace, the river had to come out to see how Grace is doing, make sure she's okay. So River's laying here saying, "Everything all right, Mom?" And River is such a good family member. He takes care of all of us whenever any of us need him. He's always there for us. He takes care of us, protects our yard, and he makes sure that we're all in good spirits. Okay, we're getting there, honey. So I'm going to take the tail again, do a little bit more down here, trying to be a little more gentle. Got my hand on the tail so I don't blow it, and because it sure looks good when you do it. So as I mentioned to you, I stay away from the tail. So right now we stopped cutting here, so we want to cut it a little bit around here so that it looks real good, but we want to keep our hand there so that we don't mess up. We got our hands so that we can't go up with the clippers on the tail. And then sometimes around the tail, in a minute I'll do it. So right now I'm doing it close, but I'm not doing the tail. Right where it starts, I'm saying. But I'm doing all around it so that it is distinctively different, the length of hair there. So I'll go a little bit here. And you'll notice that I'll put my hand back here, make that nice and even, but not the tail. And you'll see how clean this up a little bit. Because it doesn't do any good to clip if your clippers are clipped up. So, Okay, so I'm gonna go back. Make sure I stay away from the tail. Do just a little more sculpturing, I guess you might call this, around the tail. I'm going to stop it there. Just barely on the edge of the tail. Now I see some doodles, they trim up about an inch or so up on the tail. I don't trim it real short. I will cut a few hairs around there just so that it's very distinctive, because it's easier for them when they have to go to the bathroom and all. So in this area here, I'm just going to do a little bit, just a little bit, and back here, do a little bit. This stuff, this is back towards the rear end. I don't want it too long. And sometimes it's got some fuzzies. Okay, that looks pretty good. See how, okay. Put this back on. Okay, now I'll make sure I'm even up here. I'll bring it back. Okay. Sometimes that real fine hair I pull up. It doesn't want to get collected. It wants to just hang around. Oh, it's just going to look great. Okay. Okay, so I think we're at a point now where we're going to give Grace a break and let her stretch, go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, take a break, and then we'll come back and finish up final details, because we've got a lot of her done. Yeah, I know this is taking a long time. It seems like a long time, but I'm not rushing it. And up this. Okay, Gracie, you're doing real good. So now it's time we're going to clean you up a little bit. Shake some of the hair, put it in the trash before you get up. And then we're going to take a break and we'll come back and finish you up. I know everybody will like seeing. Okay, in this section here, we're going to look at the tail. We're going to brush off the tail gently. Get it nice and even. And this is very easy to do as far as trimming the tail. I don't do much, but it is nice to cut the loose ends, the split ends off the end, and sometimes they get them. So I'll brush the tail out like this, and then I'm going to fan it out. Try to fan it out so that it's like that. You don't want to trim too much the tail, except occasionally when you trim them, you get it fanned out like that, nice and even. See that? That's kind of like part of their trademark. So let's make it really pretty. Fan it out like that evenly. Okay. And then, and sometimes it isn't as easy as Grace is making it. You have to have someone hold them or get the tail, or a good thing to do is flatten it out. But you get it flattened out like that, and then you come to just the end there, and you do a nice, just a little bit off the end. Just take off about a little less than a half an inch. Very minor. Very, very minor. It's just kind of putting a fresh end to all the possible split ends. Okay, we're not really trimming it. And then what I do is always come up here and I go to the very, very tip, and I just want to get nice clean, get any split ends off of there, and I'll cut it at an angle like that. That's it, about a half inch. Now that's her tail. Now you notice that around here it's all nice. That's because I stopped right there. I stopped. And I left this alone. Some people trim a little bit tighter up to about here, and that's okay. I might do a little bit of scissors cutting, but not much. Just at the very base there. You don't want to make it so it looks like a big transition. Make it a nice, simple one. Sometimes hair is a little bit out of place there, so let's see. I want to get any. This is. Whoa, what was that about? Okay, that's good. So then I'm there. Now sometimes the clippers can't get everything, so I see some little spots that I can get with my clippers, okay? Not radical, they're just going with the other one. Okay, looks good, looks good. You could go carefully and look at anything that's sticking up unusual. Do a little bit of. Now I'm just barely brushing the top of the hair. I'm just cutting hair that's sticking up out of place a little bit. Try to get this evened out perfectly. And it's not my fault that I missed any spot. It's just that some hair has a different texture and it doesn't cut as well. Okay, so looking good. I need to get. I'm done back here. I need to get a little bit more around the neck. Okay, so I'm gonna do some around the neck for Gracie here. I'm gonna do down in this area here, but stop here and down, not up here, not in here. We're gonna start up here Come on, Gracie. 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 You gotta stay up. I gotta have you up. There we go. So, I'm gonna take, as I say, just in those areas there, bring it on, Gracie. Come on, you don't have to be this relaxed. Come on, let's make it easy for me. And let's do a good job. So as I mentioned, I'm just doing a little bit here up to the near the base, but not at the base. Bringing this down. And I want to bring this down a little bit. That area is kind of thick. And I'm not getting near the base, and I'm not getting near the top. And just making sure it's all even. Just getting a little hair up. Those are just little areas you missed, or some of the hair that didn't want to come up, get trimmed last time. Just catching up. I can't make a mistake because I got that spacer on there. Alright, well I got her so comfortable, I think I'll clean this. I finally got a toothbrush that works real well. Clean that. So I could get it nice and cutting even. Okay. Take this, put it in the trash. Be sure you put this on nice and secure. Check it out. Okay, now you can go back because you don't want to forget. Number one mistake you can make when cutting their hair is you can forget to put that back on, and you go at it like this and you'll be shaving her down to her tummy or skin, and you don't want that. See, so I'm just making sure everything is going together. I didn't miss it. Try to get it nice. See how nice I got a nice even flow towards the back. You go all the way starting from here, all the way back down to her tippy toe. Okay. And anywhere in between. You want to make sure you get everywhere, like right here. We've got that. Okay. So let's finish up here. Just down to the tail. Okay. Down to the tip of her toe. And then we pretty much only have one more little area to get, and we'll talk about that in a second. We're going to do a little trim around her bottom of her feet, kind of make it stand out nice. But try to get her legs all nice and even before you do that. So I'm trying to get it all nice and even. You'll see how nice that'll look when you do it all nice and even. Okay. Kind of pulling on that real fine hair that doesn't want to get trimmed. Pull on it a little bit, and then I'm going to put it over. Okay. Yeah, come on, Gracie. Yeah. There. Okay, so let's see about Gracie. Up. Can you come up, buddy? Up. Let's take a look at you. Okay, see this in here? Let's try to even that out. Even that out. There we go. Base of the neck, not any higher. Where the collar is. Hold the tail so you don't catch it. Putting my hand on the crown of the head so I don't get into that area. Okay. So I need to clean this again. If you learn one thing from me, you'll learn that you gotta have a clean clipper head, right? Otherwise you can't get your hair off. Okay. So now, one last thing I'm gonna do. Get my scissors. Come on, Gracie, up. Stand up. Now you want them to stand up. And we're gonna try to get the paws here. Oh, I want you to stand up, honey. Okay, so. All right, here we go. So up, you gotta be up. You gotta get up. Sit, stay. So, I'm gonna take the paws. Now I'm gonna take the scissors. See this round here? Just take a little bit of that hair off to make it nice and sharp, but don't go too high up on the foot. So, I'm gonna get the scissors. And I'm going to go like this and go around just slightly. I would say use the nails as a guide, but don't go, see, I'm gonna get nice and round. Okay. Now you see that's nice and smooth. Looks very nice when she's standing up. And I'll do that to this one here. Take this paw, brush it, and then come in here and just a slight little cut to get it. Get that out of there. That's no good. But I did this pretty good. Okay, so I'm almost done. And you want to round it back and around like that, underneath and up, just to see her nails are about right there. Okay. Now you set that down and look at those nice round edges there. Here, I could use a little bit more here. Okay, now let's see if I can get her to stand up in the back. I'm going to do the same to the back. You may not be able to see it, but that's okay. I'll show it to you when I'm done. So I'm going to just trim around the edge so that hair, every time she goes out, gets a little wet or mud, won't stick right to her upper paw area. It'll be easier to keep clean. Okay, let's get your other side, honey. Turn you around. Come on, sweetheart. Up, 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 please. Now I'm going to comb her paw out. And I'm going to cut around it. Up. You got to come up. You got to sit up. You got to hang with me for a minute. Okay, so here we go here. Let's cut this down here. Cut it around, circle around her paw, the round paw. Okay. And I'm looking for any stray hairs here that are a little bit out of place, that the clippers didn't get specifically. Okay, I think we're doing pretty good here, kids. Okay, good. All right, you know what? I'm going to look here real quick. I want to get a little bit here. And see this right here? I'm going to even this round leg out. Look for areas that are that the scissors didn't get. Oh gosh, gonna hurt you there, couldn't I? Whew, that's not a good thing. Let's see how we're doing. I got to get this a little bit kind of real uneven here. And there's a few things here that need trimming. the scissors. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, let's look here. Good. Let's get a little bit here. There we go, sweetheart. Alright. And I'm gonna look at you. Look at the top of your head here. See if there's any places I miss. Now, if you do a good job of getting this even, it'll fall into place just the way it should be naturally. You don't have to force it. And sometimes it's just a matter of putting a good, clean, fresh edge on it. And then you blend it down a little bit. This is not as short as up here. Okay. See, but I never cut below my fingers. Anything below my fingers is supposed to be there. Anything above my fingers, that could be trimmed a little bit. Sometimes trimming it makes it fit just perfect. Right. Okay. I think we got a little bit in here. Okay. A little bit in here. All right, so turn around, Grace. Let's see. Let's see. So, what do you think? See, so mom's all set. Nice. Right. I think that'll do it. I hope that helps you get confidence in doing what you do with your puppy. And I hope, wish you the best of luck, because it's just takes practice. I don't think I made this look easy or hard. I just do what I gotta do and get it done. And I've made lots of mistakes in the past to get to where I feel comfortable doing that. And you've got to keep trying, and even if you make a little mistake on a haircut, it's not the end of the world. It's just a little 2-week problem when the hair grows back out. Okay, so nice talking to you, and I hope you enjoyed this.